What if I told you that LeBron James didn't just play the game? This isn't just about dunks, rings, or MVPs. This is about a teenager from Akron, Ohio, who walked into the NBA straight out of high school and turned the entire league upside down. LeBron didn't just dominate. He redefined what it means to be a basketball player, a leader, and a global icon. From the way teams are built, to how players use their voices, to the business moves happening off the court, LeBron's influence is everywhere. So if you think you know the king, think again. In this video, we're rediving into the untold story of how LeBron James changed the NBA forever, and why his impact will be felt for generations. If you're a true basketball fan, this is the story you can't afford to miss. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Or if this is your first time here, I'm your name, and today we rediving into the legacy of someone who didn't just play basketball. He transformed it from the inside out. We're talking about LeBron James. You've probably seen the iconic moments, the clutch shots, the chase down blocks, the championship wins. But beyond all the highlights, there's a much deeper story. A story about a man who turned pressure into power, who entered the league as a teenager with the weight of a generation on his shoulders and still managed to exceed the hype. LeBron's influence goes far beyond basketball. He's a blueprint for what a modern athlete can be. A player, yes, but also a leader, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and a cultural voice. He changed how players think about themselves. He changed how teams are built. He changed how athletes use their platforms. And whether you're a diehard basketball fan or someone who just respects greatness, understanding LeBron's impact is essential to understanding the modern NBA. So get comfortable, because today, we're breaking down how LeBron James changed the NBA forever, from his debut to his legacy off the court and everything in between. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into the story of a living legend. When LeBron James entered the NBA in 2003, the league wasn't just welcoming another promising draft pick. It was witnessing the arrival of a once-in-a-generation talent, a player who had already been dubbed the chosen one before ever playing a single professional game. At just 18 years old, LeBron was selected as the #1 overall pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers, a franchise desperately searching for hope. And from the moment he stepped onto the court, it was clear. This wasn't hype. It was history in the making. What made him different? It wasn't just his athleticism, though that was unmatched. LeBron was built like a power forward, moved like a guard, and passed like a point guard. At 6 feet 8 inches and 250 pounds, he had the strength to dominate in the paint, the speed to lead the fast break, and the vision to orchestrate the offense like a seasoned floor general. In his very first NBA game, he dropped 25 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 steals, instantly silencing the skeptics. It wasn't just a good debut, it was a statement. The future had arrived. But even beyond the numbers, what set LeBron apart was how he understood the game. His basketball IQ was through the roof. He read defenses like a veteran, anticipated plays before they happened, and made teammates better from day one. He wasn't trying to fit into a traditional position. He was redefining them altogether. In a league that still largely expected players to stick to specific roles. Point guards, pass, big men rebound, wing score. LeBron blurred all those lines. He was a positionless weapon, a complete basketball ecosystem in one body. And that changed everything. Young players coming into the league no longer wanted to just specialize. They wanted to be versatile, like LeBron. Teams began looking for players who could do a little bit of everything. The idea of a point forward went from rare to mainstream. The game evolved, and LeBron was the catalyst. His arrival wasn't just a personal milestone. It was a turning point for the modern NBA. When LeBron James entered the NBA, the league was still deeply influenced by isolation-heavy offenses and clearly defined positional roles. Superstars were expected to score in bunches, often taking over games by sheer force of will. Think Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, or even the fading echoes of Michael Jordan's era. The typical formula was simple. Your best player scores. Everyone else gets out of the way. But LeBron was never satisfied with just being the leading scorer. He saw the game differently. From the beginning, his focus was on making the right play, not just the highlight play. He didn't hunt shots, he orchestrated possessions. Despite being physically capable of overpowering defenders at will, LeBron's most dangerous weapon was his vision. At 6'8" with court awareness, like a point guard and the strength of a forward, he started to bend the game in a way that confused defenses and challenged conventional thinking. He'd grab the rebound, push the ball in transition, and in a split second decide whether to drive, dish, or draw defenders to create open looks for teammates. And the passes weren't basic. We're talking full-court outlets, no-look dishes through tight windows, wraparounds in traffic, and laser beam bounce passes that hit shooters perfectly in rhythm. This kind of playmaking from someone his size was unprecedented. He wasn't a guard. He wasn't a big. He was both, and neither. In doing so, LeBron helped usher in a new era of positionless basketball, where versatility, spacing, and movement took priority over traditional roles. Suddenly, teams weren't just looking for tall centers and quick guards. They wanted playmakers everywhere. Wings who could handle the ball, bigs who could pass and shoot, guards who could switch on defense. Coaches started to build systems around movement, flexibility, and space. Lineups became smaller, quicker, and more fluid. A direct response to the kind of basketball LeBron was making not only successful, but beautiful to watch. And his team-oriented mindset became contagious. Young stars growing up watching him didn't just admire his dunks. They admired how he empowered those around him. LeBron normalized the idea that being unselfish is not a weakness, but a strength. Especially when your passes lead to wins. His influence is now everywhere. From Luka Doncic to Giannis Antetokounmpo, from Jason Tatum to Nikola Jokic. We're seeing a generation of players inspired by LeBron's blend of power, vision, and basketball IQ. It's no longer just about scoring. It's about creating. And in that way, LeBron didn't just change how basketball's played. He changed how it's understood. LeBron James is more than a basketball icon. He is a cultural force, one of the few athletes in history whose influence transcends the boundaries of sport and enters the realms of business, activism, education, and media. Long before player empowerment became a buzzword, LeBron was already shifting the paradigm. While others focused solely on their careers on the hardwood, he was planting seeds for a much broader legacy, one that would redefine what it means to be an athlete in the modern world. LeBron didn't just endorse brands. He became a brand. He partnered with Nike, not just for a signature shoe, but for a lifetime deal worth over $1 billion. A contract once unthinkable for a basketball player, but more importantly, he used that deal to build equity, not just salary. He co-founded Spring Hill Company, a multimedia empire focused on storytelling, empowerment, and ownership. Through it, he's produced documentaries, films, and series that shine a light on the Black experience, social justice, and real-life heroes. He turned the lens back onto the culture that shaped him, and claimed a voice behind the camera as well. From Blaze Pizza investments to owning stakes in sports franchises, like Liverpool FC and the Boston Red Sox, LeBron has built an empire that shows the next generation of athletes they don't have to wait for opportunities. They can create them, but perhaps even more revolutionary than his business moves is LeBron's voice. In an era where athletes were often told to shut up and dribble, LeBron did the exact opposite. He spoke loudly, clearly, and with purpose. Whether it was standing up against police brutality, demanding justice for Trayvon Martin and George Floyd, or criticizing political leaders who sought to divide the nation, LeBron never shied away from controversy. He used his platform to highlight systemic racism, voter suppression, and inequality, even when it cost him critics, headlines, and pressure from powerful institutions. He wasn't afraid to call out injustice, and in doing so, he helped shift the cultural expectations of athletes. He reminded the world that greatness on the court does not silence the responsibility of it. And perhaps the most tangible example of LeBron's legacy is the I Promise School, a public school he founded in his hometown of Akron, Ohio. Built for at-risk youth, the school provides free tuition, free meals, bikes, college scholarships, and family support programs, not just for students, but for parents as well. It's not just a building. It's a statement. It says, "I came from here, I made it out, and now I'm making a way for others." Through his LeBron James Family Foundation, he has invested millions into his community. He's created job training programs, housing support, and college pipelines. He is proving every day that an athlete's legacy can be measured not just in rings, but in lives changed. In the past, athletes were often seen as entertainers, gifted, but detached from the real world. LeBron shattered that illusion. He redefined what it means to be a public figure in sports. A leader, a thinker, a builder, a voice for the voiceless. And because of that, athletes today feel empowered to speak out, to invest, to dream bigger than the sport they play. Because of LeBron, it's no longer just about being the best on the court. It's about what you stand for when the lights go off. Before LeBron James, NBA superstars were mostly shaped by the media. Their image was filtered through TV networks, sports journalists, and corporate sponsorships. They rarely had full control of their own narrative. But LeBron came into the league at the perfect moment, just as the internet was evolving into something much more personal and powerful. And instead of letting the media define him, he took control. LeBron understood from day one that he wasn't just an athlete, he was a brand. And like any great brand, consistency, strategy, and authenticity were key. With his team of advisors, most notably his longtime friends, Maverick Carter and Rich Paul, he crafted an image that extended beyond basketball. Global, polished, smart, and real. He became the face of Nike, not just because he could sell sneakers, but because he embodied a lifestyle, excellence, hustle, and ambition. He wasn't just a poster boy, he was a partner, a visionary. And then came the digital revolution. When platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube exploded, LeBron didn't hesitate. He embraced them early. He realized that social media wasn't just for entertainment. It was a tool for power, connection, and influence. Through his posts, lives, tweets, and stories, LeBron could now bypass the press and speak directly to millions of fans. Whether it was breaking NBA news, promoting his causes, celebrating victories, or responding to criticism, LeBron shaped the conversation in real time. He let people into his world. His workouts, his family life, his thoughts. He became more than a highlight reel. He became a presence. And with that presence came control. Control over his image. Control over how stories were told. Control over how deals were made. But LeBron didn't just use social media for branding. He used it for influence. When he tweeted about social justice, it echoed far beyond sports. When he criticized the NBA schedule, the league listened. When he hinted at joining teams or praised certain players online, it stirred speculation and moved markets. He created moments online that had real-world consequences. A single tweet could change a narrative. A cryptic Instagram post could spark rumors that trended globally. LeBron understood that media isn't just about storytelling. It's about power, and social media gave him more power than any athlete before him had ever held. LeBron's presence also raised the value of players as individual media entities. Suddenly, having LeBron on your team wasn't just about basketball wins. It was about media attention, jersey sales, global reach, and social engagement. His arrival in any city meant instant relevance, sponsorships, national TV games, and an economic boost. That made him, and players like him, worth far more than what traditional contracts accounted for. He knew this. That's why LeBron began signing short-term contracts with player options, keeping pressure on franchises to build winning rosters around him. He turned contract negotiations into strategic moves. He taught the next generation that flexibility is power, and that you, Dante, have to let teams control your destiny. And in a world where visibility equals value, he showed athletes how to monetize their image, not just their performance. Today, every top athlete has a team behind them. Every young star thinks about their brand. They stream on Twitch, post on TikTok, collaborate with brands, and speak directly to their fans. This is not a coincidence. It's the LeBron effect. He set the blueprint. Be your own media company. Own your narrative. Control your brand. Leverage your influence. In short, LeBron didn't just dominate the game. He dominated the space around the game. And that may be his most underrated legacy of all. LeBron James didn't just break records. He broke the mold. He challenged the traditional hierarchy of the NBA and reshaped how the entire league operates. His presence alone forced general managers, coaches, owners, and even fellow players to rethink how power is distributed in the world of professional basketball. This cultural shift is often referred to as the LeBron effect. But what does that actually mean? Let's break it down. Before LeBron, team executives were the ones with all the leverage. Players, even the superstars, were often expected to stay loyal, wait their turn, and play within the system, no matter how broken that system was. But LeBron changed that narrative entirely. In 2010, when he left Cleveland for Miami in the Now for Miss, the decision broadcast, it wasn't just a free agency move, it was a power statement. LeBron wasn't waiting for a franchise to build a team around him. He was choosing where he wanted to play, choosing who he wanted to play with, and choosing how he would chase a championship. He joined forces with Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh, forming a super team that would dominate the league and win multiple titles. And in doing so, LeBron shattered the myth that players had to stay in their lane. He showed that they could be architects of their own careers. After LeBron made his move, the NBA was never the same. Stars across the league began collaborating, texting behind the scenes, and planning their futures not just as individuals, but as alliances. Suddenly, the concept of building through the draft or relying solely on the front office became secondary. If you wanted to win, you needed to attract stars who wanted to play together. Kevin Durant joining the Warriors, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant teaming up in Brooklyn, the Lakers bringing in Anthony Davis to pair with LeBron. All of it can be traced back to the cultural ripple effects of that one decision in 2010. This wasn't just about basketball, it was about freedom, it was about strategy, it was about control, and LeBron was at the center of it all. One of the boldest moves LeBron made throughout his career was signing short-term contracts with opt-out. This kept pressure on the front office of any team he played for. They couldn't just coast, they had to deliver results quickly. Otherwise, LeBron had the flexibility to leave and find a better fit. That kind of leverage was unprecedented. What followed was a new era where superstar players inspired by LeBron began to treat the NBA not just as a league, but as a marketplace. They realized they could use their value to negotiate better situations, form better teams, and shape their own narratives. LeBron also redefined the very idea of loyalty in professional sports. For decades, fans and media punished players who left teams or demanded trades. They were seen as disloyal, selfish, or wrinkled. But LeBron's career arc showed a different side. That loyalty, isn't just about staying with a franchise. It's about staying true to your goals, your growth, and your potential. He played in Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles. And in each city, he left a lasting legacy, including championships, community impact, and cultural shifts. He proved that greatness isn't tied to geography. It's tied to intention and excellence. Today, when a player switches teams to pursue a better opportunity, the conversation is different. There's more understanding, more strategy, more empowerment. And that's largely because LeBron normalized it. Modern stars like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic are coming into the league with a different mindset. They're aware of their value, their platform, and their influence. They know they can shape their careers, just like LeBron did. And younger players, even at the high school and college levels, now grow up watching not just how LeBron plays, but how he moves, how he negotiates, how he controls his brand, how he manages his legacy in real time. LeBron James didn't just lead teams to championships. He led an entire generation of athletes into a new era of empowerment, strategy, and he changed the culture of the NBA, and in doing so, he changed the game forever. LeBron James isn't just an incredible player. He's not just someone who scores points, breaks records, or wins championships. He is, without question, a transformative force, not only in the NBA, but in the entire world of sports. His legacy is one of evolution, innovation, and disruption. LeBron showed the world that an athlete can be more than just a performer on the court. He became a visionary, a leader, and a changemaker, using his voice, his platform, and his power to rewrite the rules. He redefined what it means to be a professional athlete in the 21st century. He challenged the idea that athletes should stick to sports. Instead, he proved that athletes can and should be involved in conversations about justice, education, equality, business, and community. He didn't just talk, he acted, from founding the I Promise School in Akron, to creating job opportunities through his media company, to speaking out during times of political and social unrest. LeBron elevated the expectations of what it means to wear a jersey and still lead like a global figure. On the court, his impact is just as massive. He changed the very style of play, blending size, skill, speed, and vision in a way the league had never seen. He erased positional labels. He made versatility the new standard. Young players today aren't just trying to be the next shooting guard or power forward. They're trying to be the next LeBron, an all-around threat who can defend, score, pass, and lead. He reshaped how offenses are run, how rosters are built, how careers are managed. The rise of super teams, the player empowerment era, the evolution of short-term contracts, the growing influence of social media, all of these are part of the LeBron legacy. And perhaps the most remarkable thing, he's still writing that legacy. Even in the later stages of his career, LeBron remains one of the most relevant and dominant players in the league. He's still breaking barriers, still setting records, still inspiring the next generation to not just play the game, but to change it. When we talk about how the NBA has evolved, we can't separate that story from the man who pushed that evolution. Understanding LeBron's impact means understanding how the NBA has changed and how it will continue to change because of him. Because when LeBron entered the league in 2003, the world thought they were watching the next Michael Jordan. But what they got was the first LeBron James, and there will never be another quite like him. Now it's your turn. We've ever explored how LeBron James changed the NBA forever. From the way the game is played, to how athletes use their voice, to the culture of the entire league. But we want to hear your thoughts. What do you think was LeBron's biggest impact on the NBA? Was it his style of play, his leadership off the court, his influence on player empowerment and free agency, or maybe all of the above? Please share your answer in the comments below. We'll be reading and responding, and we'd love to hear what stood out the most to you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the legacy of one of the greatest athletes of all time, be sure to like this video. It helps support the channel and shows us you want more content like this. Subscribe so you never miss a story that goes beyond the stats and into the heart of the game. And hit the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos are released. We have more amazing videos coming up about basketball legends, game-changing moments, and the untold stories that shaped sports history. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay passionate, stay curious, and keep loving the game.